Hey guys, Magnus Robert here, bringing you another Walking Dead Lone Survivor character video. And this is the last one. That's right, we're done with our Lone Survivor theme. Today we are looking at the One-Eyed Dog, a dog encountered by Daryl and Beth in Season 4. The One-Eyed Dog is of course male. He is played by doggy actor Dooley. His age is unknown, and he of course first appeared in Alone. Nothing is known about his life before the outbreak, but at some point he must have lost his eye, likely in some form of accident, or perhaps it was a birth defect in this universe, although the actor has a specific story to how he lost his eye, which we'll get into in a bit. It's also possible the One-Eyed Dog lost his eye during the apocalypse too. Maybe he was attacked by a human or a walker. That might explain why he isn't too keen on human connection and why he runs away from Daryl later on. When the outbreak began, the One-Eyed Dog of course survived several months, either on his own or possibly with the help of another survivor. Now the One-Eyed Dog appears to hang out around the funeral home, and we know that the funeral home has recently been occupied by at least one survivor, as it's of course stocked full of supplies and someone has been embalming the dead. So it's possible that this guy also looked after the One-Eyed Dog, but maybe it's more the fact he was just feeding the dog scraps, not so much that he was really caring for it. In Season 4, the One-Eyed Dog is first heard when he alerts Daryl's little cans-on-strings alarm system that he set up outside the funeral home. He looks through the door to see the dog and then opens it, the dog looking all cute there with its one little eye. Aww. Daryl then bends down and has the dog sniff his hand, but then when Daryl tries to actually pet the dog, he makes a little yelp and runs away. And not just backs away a little bit, this dog just paces across the graveyard. He's gone. Now that is the last we see of the One-Eyed Dog, but later on at night we hear the following. Now I just want to replay the important part there. Yeah, I think the dog was killed there. So from what I can tell just from listening, I think the dog alerts the can system and then barks as some zombies pounce on him. Maybe like some lurkers, right? They've kind of surprised the poor little thing. He barks, but they pretty quickly bite into him and kill him right outside the door. Of course, then Daryl opens the door to see all the walkers, and after he leaves the funeral home, when Beth is kidnapped, there is no sign of the One-Eyed Dog, so I'm pretty confident he was devoured by walkers. R.I.P. the One-Eyed Dog. I don't know what it is about this dog, but I've just always loved his inclusion. I think you can pull so many things from it. But first, let's talk about the actor Dooley. Now, in a little bit of trivia from The Talking Dead, we find out that Dooley actually lost his eye whilst he was protecting his owner from a carjacking incident. So that's how he lost his eye. So he is a true hero dog, which is cool to see. And like I was saying before, that you can pull so many little story threads from this dog's inclusion. What I mean by that is, this dog, from how it acts, was clearly abused. It's lost an eye. It clearly doesn't trust humans. And I like to think that potentially it was abused. That's why it runs away from Daryl when Daryl tries to pet it. I mean, this is like a common dog thing that you see in abused dogs, right? And just like Daryl is an abuse victim himself. And the fact that they had this little connection, and Daryl says, I'm going to give that dog a second chance. In the same episode where Daryl has finally opened up to Beth, right? Daryl finally has found this human connection, this emotional connection with another person. That's why I just love this dog's inclusion. There's something there, right? There's like this thread of an abuse victim trying to reach out and trying to find a connection. Am I reading too much into it? I don't know, but like I said, something about the dog. Anyway, thanks for watching my little 10-part series on lone Walking Dead survivors. I hope you liked the one on the dog. I thought the dog had to be the last one in this little saga. I just wanted to talk about the dog and gush about it, but I guess we'll spin that wheel to decide what we're going to be looking at next week. So let's get through all these. So the next profile will be Oh, hell yeah. We're going to be looking at Joe Sr. And in the meantime, we'll also look at Joe Jr., although he's an unknown character, we don't know where he is. We'll talk about him briefly.